Welcome to this little lecture on the circular flow model. We're going to talk about this picture. We're going to start off here in the middle with a household. A household is made up by people. People living together or living on their own in a house, an apartment, could be on a boat or a tent, but it's people living. So a household is made up by people. We're also going to start off by talking about the companies that produce something. Could be products or services. The household is connected to the company because people come to the company and they work. So we can call that labor. This is when people go and work in the companies. And when they are working, they get something back. They get payment. This means that they get money back. But this is not enough. The households, they also get something else back from the companies, and that is products and services. And back to the companies, they send money, they send payment. So there is a connection between the households and the companies by labor, payment, products and services, and payment again. You see the arrows, they go in different directions. But we also have households and banks. Because when the households have been working a lot, they get a lot of money and they want to put it into the bank, called savings. When we do that, we get something back from the bank. We get some money for our money. It's called interest. It's an interest on the deposit that we make in the bank. But we can also be in a situation where we need a loan from the bank. We get money from the bank. And if we do that, it's we who have to pay the interest. So we can see that the household and the bank, they are connected by these things. But the company and the bank, they have the same situation. Because sometimes the bank will give a loan to the company. This happens when the company wants to invest, they want to buy new machineries, new houses, they need to hire more people, and they don't have that money just now. So they a question to the bank, can we have some extra money? And yes, they can, often, not always, but they also have to pay interest back to the bank. In another situation, the company have a lot of money. They have savings. They want to use that money in the future sometime, and therefore they put the money into the bank, and if they do, they get interest back. So we see that these three parts, they are very closely connected with each other. But we also see that we have the public sector. And people in the households, they work here as well. So we put labor here. And for their work, they are paid money. We see that there is payment. But we don't only do that. We pay taxes. We pay taxes, and for that, we get services. As you can see here, we have a hospital, but it could also be a school, all our roads, all those things that the public sector helps us with, and we pay them taxes to have all of this. The public sector is connected to the household as well as to the bank, because the bank can give loans to the public sector as well. If they get a loan, they have to pay interest. Sometimes the public sector has a little bit too much money for the moment. Therefore, they have savings and they put it into the bank. And of course, if they do, the bank will pay them interest on their deposit. So, we see that these parts are closely connected to each other. But we also see that we have the world out here. And if we start with the companies and the world, we can see that sometimes the companies will send things out from Sweden out to other countries. That's called export. For that, the companies will get money, payment. But the companies will also need products from the other parts of the world. That's called import. And of course, if they do, they have to pay for this. It's called payment. So the companies are connected to the rest of the world by export and import. And we want to export more than we import because then we get money into Sweden. The households, we import as well. We order things directly from the abroad and then we send money back. Payment. But we also go for a holiday. We leave. And people also come to our country, but they rarely go to the households. They go to companies that they pay money to. So we go for a holiday, and if we do that, we also have to pay money. And then we see that this arrow goes the same way. We send the money out of the country. And you can see 3 arrows going outside. That means that Sweden is losing money. The public sector and the rest of the world are connected the same way as the companies are. The public sector will do things that they can export. And for that, they will get money back, payment. They will do things using products from abroad. That means that they have imported things. And that's when they have to pay money. So now we see that all these parts are connected. But we have one part left here. The public sector is connected to the companies. And you will see it better if I do like this. By products and services. The roads that are built are used by the companies when they transport their products, for example. And back goes payment. The companies, they will have to pay something to the public sector. We know that as taxes. But from the public sector to the companies will also come money sometimes. And we can call them grants. That is when the public sector will help companies in situations where they do need money and they don't have it for the moment. That is called a grant. So this complicated model started off with a household and the company. And these are the concepts that you need to be able to grasp.